not taking my sneakers off. I am sneakers though too.
Welcome to another Zarb World video. Today with me I have God's divine holy light. Take this moment to bask in the light of God's divine holy presence with me. Today I want to talk about the Charlie Kirk meme. Maybe just ramble on a little bit about it. I don't know. I don't have the energy. I got too much other stuff I'm working on, dude. I just don't have the energy to make a really well-structured video here, okay? So just bear with me. From a memetic perspective, the Charlie Kirk meme is very interesting. Meme is sort of the cultural analog to genes. They reproduce based off of some sort of quality that gives them success within an environment and within mating. But obviously, you don't mate to reproduce memes. You just, you take a screenshot on your epic iPhone and you post it on your awesome social media account. So what this is called is causal efficacy. Memes have causal efficacy. There's some quality, there's some property, there's some element to it that provides its success within its environment. What also must be understood about memes is that, when we use the word viral, right, that should be taken literally. The virality of memes is pretty much exactly similar to the virality of pathogens, okay? If I were to post an epic meme, an awesome meme that has like crazy causal efficacy, crazy potential within the current online subcultures, if I posted that on like a farming forum that has like maybe like 3 posts a year, that's like analogous to a pathogen floating, around in like a rural area, but doesn't ever really, break out into more urban areas. So in some sense, the density of a population within a network enables the replication of memes. And there's also ideological factors, right? So for instance, the Charlie Kirk meme, who would resist the Charlie Kirk meme, despite the fact that it might actually be really funny? It's going to be MAGA, right? They're more sympathetic to what has happened. Maybe they should be. I mean, it was pretty bad. It was the video. I've seen some pretty bad videos growing up on the internet, but that one, just knowing that like this is the guy that I've watched debate for like a decade, there's just something different about that. But obviously, those who sympathize with Charlie Kirk are going to be more resistant to the causal efficacy of the meme. However, obviously, we can infer something about the environment based off the fact that regardless of the MAGA resistance to the meme, it is still successful. I think that the fact that the meme is still being propagated now, even almost a year after it has started, suggests that there's maybe a sort of political synthesis happening, or there's some relatability between the two sort of sides that we're conditioned to know, which is, the right and the left. And so what I would like to also introduce is this idea of fragmentation within the culture. And I think that this is something that has been accelerated due to the internet. But essentially, because of the internet, you and your neighbor, right, you occupy the same socioeconomic status. You guys might have a similar wage, you pay the same amount of rent, you live next to each other in your apartment complex or whatever, and yet each of you have radically different worldviews. One of you is a raging white nationalist who you're an Asian Aryan. You think that the white race will be saved because of the Asian overtaking of Western culture. You're waiting for the moment that you get your hot Japanese wife. The next person, down further down in the complex is a stupid libtard SJW with half of they them's hair is green and the other half is fucking purple. I don't know. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm losing my fucking mind. You occupy the same spatial status. You occupy the same economic status. And yet your worldviews are radically different thanks to the internet. So then, we can understand there might be different flavors. There might be different reasons for the propagation of the Charlie Kirk meme. The fact that the Charlie Kirk meme is so funny or so funny to the various different types of people means that there's something about it that is a little bit more universal that maybe doesn't apply to, a MAGA ideologue, but appeals to virtually everyone else. And I think that would be the sort of almost like schizo occult, I don't know, like people who like are more conspiratorial about Israel and stuff like that. And then obviously people who are like a little bit more unsympathetic towards conservative grifters, people maybe more on the left. But I think generally the uniting quality between these parties is a general sentiment of disillusionment. Most people understand that they are kind of powerless. They have been virtualized, and their entire their being as a person has been limited by their lack of a unifying narrative. There's a lack of, due to fragmentation. There's a lack of there's nothing unifying us. There's no way for us to across every individual manage all of the complexity that has been created by the culture war. And so generally people are just disaffected. They say, the only way that I can reclaim any kind of power is to embrace my cynicism and laugh at the inevitable end that is approaching us. Whereas a deer who is looking at a car coming straight for them, gives the deer in the headlights look. Okay, it's just confused, right? There's an element to it with humans. We're staring at the car and we know it's coming towards us, but we just can't help but laugh. We think that it is so fucking funny. The only unifying thing that we have is meta irony. The only because that's the tool that we universally use to gesture, sort of subliminally or implicitly, to all of the other in groups, to people that we want to exclude and people that we want to include. Right? That's the language that we all use. That's the beauty of meta irony, is that where post irony sort of makes it a little bit more obvious that you're making a joke, and it's it's a bit more explicit. Meta irony is much more implicit. The only people who understand what you're saying are the people who are already a part of your group, who already think the same way as you do. And that's the only form of uniting that you'll experience. And so I think that the core functionality of the Charlie Kirk meme is meta irony, a sort of meta irony that is produced via a disillusionment, a cynicism, and a desire to reclaim some sense of power over the perceived complexity of the culture war.